So we've got on the next page is a cash flow diagram. And we can use your learning that you already have according to the Cartesian coordinate system. We can extend that Cartesian coordinate system, that knowledge base that you already have there, into understanding what a cash flow diagram is. And so let's look at this. So primarily, it's nothing new that you have to learn as to what a cash flow diagram is. As I just drew a horizontal line. Here's my vertical line, and you can, in this case, use all the principles that you know about the Cartesian coordinate system and apply it. So here's your y-axis, and here's your x-axis. And here is 0. That's your 0 line. We know that in our understanding of the Cartesian coordinate system, we can place all identifying marks in our Cartesian coordinate system in an x, y format. And we also know that as a build to this, we're in quadrant 1 here and in quadrant 2 in our Cartesian coordinate system when we're looking at what we've just developed here as a cash flow idealization, a cash flow diagram idealization. So in our quadrant 1, we know that the numbers are always x is plus and y is plus, right? We know that. And that's the same format here. We're not going to change anything. So this number that's identified here is a plus number. And in our quadrant 2, our x and our y, our x is always a positive number, right? So we're using that as a positive. However, our y is a negative number, okay? So we're using the same logic, knowledge base that we already have. So this number is being represented as a minus. It can either have the minus sign, but in the cash flow diagram, we already know that anything below that, 0, so everything back down here is in minus, everything up here is a plus. All right, so just understanding that, following that rule, we don't have to learn any new approach to it. Use what you already know from the XY coordinate system and identifying it as such. So $1,000, that's what's represented here. So I take out of my savings $1,000. I take it out. So it's a minus number. Remember, we have to do something with it. So it sits in the quadrant 2. It's in a minus number. And what happens is at the end of 5 years, okay, I'm going to get $2,000 for it. And that's a plus number, and that's identified here. Okay, so this is a representation of just what we've looked at here in a primary format, that the cash flow diagram shows an outflow. Right? An outflow. We're taking this is the out. Everything that's in this quadrant 2 is out. Everything up in quadrant 1 is incoming. Okay, this is what you're going to get back on your return on investment. Okay, that's your return on investment, whatever you're planning to do with that $1,000. And so one of the things that we're going to focus in on is your factor tables. And so one of the things about that, as I mentioned, we're going to look at time being a variable. And so when we get into this, and we'll be looking at it in very good detail in about an hour or two, we're going to be looking at engineering factor tables. And that's where you're going to save time. Okay, the equations, you can use the equations. There's nothing wrong with that. But to save time, we're going to understand how to use a factor table. We're going to go through a few exercises, and that's primarily it. The following letters or symbols that we'll be using here, and this is going to be repeated again. Present, or P, we reference it as P. P being the present sum of money. The future sum of money is F. N is the number of interest periods, and I is the interest rate per period. And these are introductory to what we're going to be focusing our attention on as we move through the course content here.